Assalamu alaikum. I'm Imam Dr. Hassan A. Amin, and welcome to the Muslim Network TV's 10 for 10 Ramadan special. Today we will discuss a form of sin that we all must stay away from: oppression of others. And what do I mean by that? The Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessing upon him, he said to one of the companions, he said, help your brother if he is being oppressed or he's the oppressor. So the companion asked, well, I know how to help him when he's being oppressed, but how do I help him when he is the oppressor? He said, you will help him by preventing him from oppressing of others. Also, there's another hadith where the Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, he mentioned that oppression will come in the form of darkness on the day of judgment. And then sort of went into a little bit more, meaning that on the day of judgment, everything, it would be very dark. The only light we would have, for example, when a person walking across the Sirat, which is a bridge going across the hellfire. So let me get into that a little bit. So one of the lights will be as bright as a building, and another light may be as bright as a tree or a large tree. Another one you would be like the blink of an eye. Then one be like flashing, like a small flash. And another one be in forms of a horse, speeding horse going across the bridge. And so we had those different forms of light. And so we don't want any kind of darkness whatsoever on the day of judgment. That's why we have to stay away from oppression, because oppression on the day of judgment will be in the form of darkness. And the other thing I want to say to you is regarding what Prophet Muhammad, he mentioned that the invocation, meaning the dua, supplication of the person who's being oppressed, will not have a barrier or curtain between his supplication and to Allah, between him and Allah. So let me move on with that. So let me use some examples. One example is there was a person who he had a daughter, and he met this man, and he said to the man, well, can my daughter work for you? And he said, sure. So the young daughter started working for him, but the man was very abusive. He would beat the daughter, he would hurt her, he even electrocuted her. And so to the point that the daughter became blind. And then what happened after that, the man, he gave the daughter as a gift, if you will, to his son. And the son also abused the young lady, and she was blind, or she became blind. And then the son had a daughter. And had a son first. And then when the son had the son's son was blind. And then after that, they had a daughter, and also the daughter, she came out seeing, but later on she became blind. And so this daughter received a lot of abuse. The young lady received a lot of abuse and from the family. So she got to the point she couldn't hardly see. She was blinded. Even when she goes to the store and buy things, she couldn't buy the right things because she couldn't see. And so one day she decided to leave the family. And so she left the family. And the mother of the child, of the man, she was a little more kinder than the husband was. And so when the girl left, she went looking for the girl. Then she finally found the girl and brought the girl back, and she treated the girl much more better because she remembered that Allah, the supplication of a person does not get blocked, or no kind of barrier and no kind of curtain between Allah and the person who making the supplication. And she remembered that, the mother. And also she saw that these children, her grandchildren they were blind. And she said maybe the supplication of this young lady is affecting her offspring or her grandchildren. So she brought the girl back, and they treated her very, very well, and they became the servant to the young lady. Another situation was there was a man who complained to one of the prophet's companions, and he was the leader at the time, and he said, the governor where we are, he does not lead the people in prayer well. And so what happened is Umar, who was the leader they went to, and he said, okay, he sent another person to the governor, or where the governor was, and asked the people, well, tell us about such and such a person, the governor. And everyone said all these great things about him. And then he met another person stood up in a group of people, and he said, no, the governor's a bad person. He's bad to us. He's not good to us. He said all these negative things which were not true about the governor. And so what happened after that, the governor made dua, a supplication, about this man. He said, may this man have a long life, and also may Allah take his sight away. And so this particular governor's supplication was answered. And that was that the man had a long life, and also the man was blinded because the oppression that the man put upon the governor, saying all these things that were not true about the governor. So I want to move on to one more thing, and that is there was a lady who said that this individual, that her neighbor, was taking her property and using her property for his own services or for his own use. And so, but she was not telling the truth. And so what she did, she told all these lies against her neighbor, and then the neighbor made a supplication that this lady became blind. And so this lady, she became blind, and also the lady fell into, it was like more like a ditch. She fell into the ditch, and then she died in that particular ditch. And so I want to mention something else, and that is one of the other oppression that we're talking about, and we're talking about when a person oppresses another person, and that on the day of judgment, that person will be that you oppressed or you did wrong to them, they will be there to collect. And what I mean by that, any good deeds that you have, they would take, and any bad deeds that they have, you would take on their bad deeds. So these are just a few things I want to mention in terms of oppression of others, and we should not be doing that at any time. Not during the month of Ramadan. Anytime should we be oppressing another person because they could be praying against us. Thank you for watching the 10 for 10 Ramadan special, brought to you by Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.